Hello guys. In this video we'll be talking about three important functions: toString, equals and hash code. So these functions are often used in daily basis while we code, and these functions are often asked in interview as well. Okay, so we'll start with toString function first. What does toString is? toString is basically it's a built-in function in the object class, and on whatever object we call it, toString simply returns the string version of that object, right? We'll just look it by example. So let me just create a class. Let's call it example. Let's create the main function. Okay, so let's say we have created a string a equals to hello. Okay, if we call toString on that object, so what it will do, it will just give us the string version of that object. So if I run it, it will just print hello, because that string version of the object would be hello only. So this doesn't make much sense, but to define it is basically any object on which it is called. Currently it's called over the a, which is a string. toString will return the string version of that object, right? So this example does not make much sense. So what we'll do, we'll create a student class here. Okay, we will give two properties to it. Let's say int roll number and int marks. Okay, and right, we'll do this only. Now we'll just remove this. Now let's create two different students. S1 equals, we'll just create one constructor, public student, okay, and now we create a student. So student 1 with 20 marks and student 2 with, let's say, 30 marks. Okay, now let's say we want to print this student. Now we want to print that student object S1. Okay, so here we have not override, or we have not created basically any toString function, right? So we'll see what happens. So by default what happens is, whenever we call println function, system.println, to an object, it automatically calls the toString method of it. Okay, so when we call it, it just prints something like this as a complete package name, com.example.knowledge-world.student. So it's a complete file name basically, or we should say class name, @ some this value. Okay, so first of all, from where this toString function came, so we have created a student class, but we have not created any toString function. But here, so, or let's say we just call it here. So from where this function came, right? So this function came from the object class. So any class we create, object is the parent class. Okay, so now we, let's say, open the object class. So we'll see what the object class is. So this is the object class. This is a parent class for all the class. So here it has the toString function. So that's why this toString function is available on the student object. Okay, now to see, so that means this function is getting called when we actually do this. Okay, now looking at the output here is something class name @ something. Okay, and this function is doing exactly same. It's returning me the class name @ plus the hash code, converting it to a hex string. Okay, so this is what is happening right now. Okay, but let's say I want to print this roll number and marks whenever someone tries to print the object. So how can we do it? We can do it simply. We just override this toString method, and we can print anything. Basically we have to return, let's say, we have to return Okay, now when we run it again, we see this. Now we haven't called toString. Println automatically calls the toString while printing the object, and this function is getting called because when it's clear from the output. Okay, so this is the toString method. So whenever we create any object of our own, we basically have to create the toString to get to know the contents of that object. Okay, so this is the toString method. Okay, now we'll talk about two important functions, equals and hashcode. Equals first. Okay, so before moving to equals, first understand there are two types of comparisons. First is deep comparison, another is shallow comparison. Okay, shallow comparison means the reference comparison. So basically this is done by using this equals, double equals. Okay, so let's say there is an object O1 and object O2. If I do O1 equals to O2, this is means we are comparing the reference of these two objects instead of actual objects. Okay, so this is the shallow comparison. Then deep comparison means we are comparing the contents of the object, right? And we'll talk in depth what is deep and what is shallow, but understand this, the deep is when we compare the contents of the object, and shallow when we are comparing the reference of the object. Okay, now moving to equals method. Let's say I've called the equals method on this. Okay, so like toString, we haven't created the equals method also. So from where it came from the object class. Okay, so we'll just open the object class. So if we open the equals method, so what it is doing, it is checking the reference. So basically it's calling equals with the current object and the object that is being passed here, right? So what does this line do? It's basically checking S1 double equals to S2. This is the shallow comparison. Okay, okay, so this is a shallow comparison. So what it should output? It should output false, because these two references are different reference, right? Now just playing with it, let's say if we do s1 dot equals s1, then it should be true because both are the same reference, and right, basically the same object and same reference. Now if we do student s3 equals to s1, okay, and then we print s1 dot equals s3, now what it should do? It's returning true because s1 is same reference as s3 and both are pointing to the same object. Okay, so this is the equals method, default equals implementation, which is coming from the object class, and it's a shallow comparison. Okay, now let's say we want our equals method to check if the roll number of two students is same, then we can consider it as the same student, else it should be different student. So to code it, if two students have the same roll number, calling equals on both of them should return true, else it should return false. Okay, so how should we do it? We have to override this equals method, public boolean equals object O, right? So first what we'll do, we'll just cast it to student. If this basically you can simply return this dot roll number equals to s dot roll number. Okay, if we run the same code again, now it's returning true. Okay, and if we simply change the roll number here, it's returning false because it's actually checking the roll number of those two students. Okay, okay, now we talk about hash code method also. We talked about two functions, equals and toString. Now we talk about hash code. Again, this hash code function came from the object class, right? So this is the native function and it's coming from the object class. Okay, what does it do? It's basically clear from the name, it's return the hash code for that particular object. Okay, now this hash code is used to uniquely identify the object. So let's say we are using a hash map, even we want to identify a individual object, we'll just call the hash code over that object and we get the unique identifier for that object. Okay, now we'll see one application for this. Okay, so we know there is a data structure set, so we can create set object. Okay, now what is the basic property of set? It automatically removes the duplicate elements. Okay, so let's say if I have added set dot add both the students S1 and S2. Okay, and if I just print the set, how many elements should be there in the set? 2, right? So I'll just confirm it. Both elements are there. So this is the first element and this is the second element. Okay, now let's change this to 1. Okay, now we discussed that for us same student means the roll number should be same. Okay, so now these both students are same, that means they are duplicate. So as and when we add the same element again, set should keep only one element. Okay, so now let's run it. Still both elements are present, even though we have already override the equals method. Still set shows both the elements are there in the set. That means set is still not able to identify that these are duplicate, right? So the way set works is, set first calls this hash code method, right? So set first calls this hash code method, and if it finds the hash code is already present in the hash set, then it calls the equals method to actually check the contents of the object. Okay, so for that we have to override the hash code method also. Hash code is the int, so we just have to return int. And now what should we return? So basically we can simply return the roll number here. Okay, so return this dot roll number. So the way this works now, when we call the set dot add, so first we run it. Okay, then we'll just, now it's printing only first object. Okay, so the way it's working now, it's when we call this line set dot as s1, it first calculate the hash code, right? So let's say the hash code is 1 because the roll number is 1. It checks in the hash map, which is the, so we'll talk about the internal implementation of hash set in a different video, but for the sake of this video, let's assume hash set internally maintains a hash map. Okay, so in the internal hash map, it checks, it tried to push this element at the place where the hash is 1 and there is no element in the set, so it will just add this element at the place where hash is 1. Okay, now it will try to do this, it will try to add the s2 to the hash. So again it will calculate the hash code. Now the what would happen, the hash code bit again came 1. Okay, now since the hash code is already there in the hash map, it will calls the equals method on both of the object, on this s2 and s1, to compare them basically. So again what would happen, it will call the equals method here to check whether these objects are actually equal or not. If they are equal, then it would keep only one of them. If they are not equal, then it simply add it to the hash map. Okay, on the same hash code in the way of linked list, like it's the internal working of hash map. Okay, we need not to go into depth in this video. Okay, so now if we run it, there is only one element. Okay, so I'll just print some logs inside the hash code, so it will make much more sense. Hash code this is equals. Okay, so as you can see, okay, I will just add one more. Okay, so it just print adding one, and only hash code is getting called after it, right? Because it's calculate the hash code, it sees there is no collision, so it will simply add it to the hash set. Okay, now after adding two, first hash code is getting called, and then it also called the equals method. Okay, it will call the equals method to check the two objects, one which is already present and one which we are trying to add. So s1 is already present and s2 we are trying to add. So something sort of this is will be called s1 that equals s2, and if this is true, which would be in this case, so it considered both of them to be equal. Okay, so that's how hash set maintains duplicacy. It first call the hash code. If the hash code is equal, then it calls the equals method, right? If the equals is true, then it considers those two elements as duplicate, and it just keeps the initial element and does not add the new element. If the equals returns false, then it adds both of the elements, right? One important thing here is कि for the performance purposes, as you can see, if the hash code is equal, then equals method will be getting called, right? So for two different objects, ideally if you are overriding hash code, you have to implement it in such a way that it should be different for different objects, otherwise every time equals method will get called. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you.